Noveen, thank you so much for giving us some of your time and
Of
talking
course.
about Redfall. For starters, congrats on the
Thank you.
reveal. The reception was huge. Social media went nuts. Everybody really,
Yeah.
really loves what Redfall has to offer. But before we dive into it, how's the year been for you?
The year has been actually pretty crazy. I mean, the start of 2021 has been a little bit better, but of course, quarantine in 2022, it was all over the place, all over the place. Mainly for voiceover, it's actually gotten a lot better for me because I guess everyone's home now, everyone's got their work at home, and the auditions and bookings have just been rolling in twice as much. So 2020 was actually pretty good to me, and I'm thankful for that. 2021 right now, it's just like adulting right now, learning to adult, and um it's a learning experience. It really is. But I'm thankful for everything that's come my way, and obviously the Redfall hype that's suddenly come all of a sudden. I'm really grateful for that. So just trying to truck through life and survive.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It has been a gift and a curse despite everything that's followed. I think like the ease of access, like stuff like this, like having these conversations online and
Hmm.
things like Zoom really blowing up and making it easier
Yeah.
for folks like yourself to access your work still, so
Hmm.
thankfully you're not like shut out. Um
Yeah.
I mean, it has been helpful, especially for the world of voice actors and
Oh yeah.
um, thinking about that. How did you come across Redfall? Was this something that you were actively looking at, or was the agent reach out to you, or what was that coming into contact with Redfall?
So I do have a voiceover agent, and they're the ones who submit me to different voiceover projects. And I did audition for Redfall and ended up getting it and recording it over a few months. It's even since like 2020, last year, we've been doing it. And we were actually supposed to premiere it at E3 the year before, and we were supposed to physically be there. But of course, COVID happened. So that kind of got pushed back and gave them more time to kind of create the game and improve some things that we wanted to do or rewrite whatever we wanted to do. And yeah, so it's all thanks to my agent and the creators and writers for giving me the opportunity to give Layla a voice. So really grateful for that.
It's actually think because I mean, I had no idea about Redfall even during last year's cancellation of E3. I know there were a lot of
Mhm.
things that were put by the wayside. I'm really glad that didn't happen to Redfall. I know there were a lot of projects that had to come to a screeching halt.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the entertainment industry in general really getting hit. So I'm
Mhm.
glad we still got to see it. I'm glad folks got to enjoy the cinematic that we saw and get our
Mhm.
hands on it next year. I know this really isn't the time to talk specifics, but what was the process like, getting into character for Layla and recording for yet another game? I know games aren't new to you, but what was
Mhm.
the process like for this project?
Well, for this project, it's a little bit different than some of the other things I've ever done, mainly specific because she's not completely human, of course. I mean, she is, but she got like powers after. But so that was kind of a different direction that I had to dive into. And of course, the directors kind of gave me direction on different ways to kind of play her as well. And specifically for me, when I'm in a recording studio, for me to help get grounded, I usually take my shoes off. Don't worry, I do have socks on, but I usually take my shoes off when I'm in the studio because it helps me feel the ground and feel grounded in my character. And it also makes me feel vulnerable. And I don't want to always be too comfortable in a character because comfortability can sort of fall into being lazy. So I love being vulnerable. I love being out there. And the way Layla is, she's sassy, she's fierce. So it's easy for me to relate to her as well. And for this game, we also did facial motion capture. So we did have like the little white dots all over our face and stuff. And that was really, really interesting to do because you literally have a camera this close to your face. So it's like, invading my space, but it's like, just pretend it's not there. But it was a lot of fun though.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting approach to being grounded because it's like twofold. You've got your feet on the ground and your own
Hmm.
personal process and approach to getting into character. And then you've got those like the white dots in the motion capture and the
Yeah.
having it's like a second skin for this character, which I don't know is was this your first time doing the motion capture with the camera and at least this process for Laylo? Was this your first time experiencing that?
I did motion capture for one other game I still can't say yet because it's just not out yet. It was facial motion capture. And then I also did a full body motion capture for a different game, which also is not out yet. But you never really get used to it because it's the camera literally in your face. So yeah, it's always a new process every time, always a new feeling.
Well, I mean, you killed it just from the
Thank
few
you.
moments we got to see, the presentation. I'm still blown away. I think the representation in this game is what folks have been waiting for.
Yeah.
The last few years, it's been this resurgence of, like the blurred, the black nerdism, nerds of color and
Yep.
whatnot. And we've always been here. So to get to
Hmm.
see this kind of representation on the world
Yeah.
stage, E3, it's the summer of games. It was really really exciting. I already said this isn't your first game credit, and it's sure as hell not going to be your last.
Thank you.
But do you feel drawn to horror genres? I know you did. It was Vanessa in
Friday the
Friday the
13th.
13th,
Yep.
and do you feel more comfortable in that genre? Is it just a genre that appeals to you, or is it just kind of like a stroke of luck? You work well in that space.
It's kind of all three of them. Of course, like I said before, my agent is the one who submits me to things and it just whatever I end up booking. And recently I've noticed that a lot of the stuff I booked is horror, sci-fi kind of fantasy stuff. And I don't mind it. I love watching that kind of stuff. I love watching horror movies in the dark, sometimes with the light on though. But I love horror stuff. Before I got into voiceover acting, I also did short films and TV spots here and there whenever I could. And one of the short films I did actually for USC was a mini series called The King of the Sun. And it was all about horror and gore and killing. And there's a killer on the loose and everyone's dying off and there's blood everywhere. And then I also did another film shoot, which is basically the same thing called Girls Club. And it was just me killing and stabbing people and there's blood. So I don't know what it is with all of that stuff attracting to me. I'm fine with it. I love it. I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would love to continue to do more kind of horror stuff. I think it's exciting, it's fun, it's thrilling. So I'm definitely not opposed to more of that stuff.
I'm right there with you. I'm a huge horror movie buff, so I don't know about the like blood and gut stuff. I'm a little weak in the knees there, but I think it would be fun to be in that space where you've
Yeah.
got like the raw emotions and the fears,
Hmm.
being one of the most primal kind of reactions and feelings to have to, you know, to act.
Hmm.
I'm sure it's a different experience I know for film and television, it's one kind of preparation, but when you're
Yeah.
looking at video games, do you ever like play a few titles to get yourself prepared maybe, or do you play games to think, okay, maybe I'll do this sort of intonation instead of
Mm.
other, you know what I mean, to sort of prepare for your
Yeah.
voice acting? You ever do that?
Well, generally, when it's just like my everyday life, I always have like that third ear listening out for voiceover, how people do it, how they do it in like commercials or radio, or even when I'm listening to animation, there's always that third ear that's kind of like, oh, they said it that way or they said it this way. But specifically for me, when it comes to acting, I'm a very emotional person. So it's easy for me to just cry on command. So I have that dramatic emotional availability at hand. So if it's normally like I'm screaming from something or I have to be very scared from something, it's pretty easy for me to kind of just pull that out of myself. I've never really had an issue with that or never had trouble with that. I guess it's a gift, but also a curse because if I have to cry on command, then my makeup's just gone. It's gone. It's just a mess. But yeah, when it comes to dramatic stuff, killing stuff, running away, choking on my own blood, it's been really surprisingly easy for me. So I'm not really sure what I did in my past life for it to come so natural. But yeah, of
Well, I mean, your audience will definitely appreciate it because it makes it more believable and genuine. Whereas, like,
course.
if you're not into it, then it'll just take away from your character. And
Exactly.
again, as we saw, Layla has a ton to offer. We're super stoked for
Hmm.
next summer. Again, congratulations on this role.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the other work you have coming. Where can folks follow you, follow your work, and stay in touch with the things that you're doing?
So I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at Noveen Crumbie, just to make it simple, Noveen Crumbie. I'm also in the works of creating Not sure what exactly to call it. It's not going to be a podcast, but it's going to be on Instagram. It's called So You Think You Can Talk. So basically, I'll just be putting out different short videos and reels about different parts of voiceover and how it works and my experience to kind of help people out there who are looking to get into voiceover and to being guided to get into voiceover and different questions and stuff like that. So that's something I think that I'm definitely excited about coming out. I'm shooting for it to come out next year. But it's called So You Think You Can Talk. It already has an Instagram handle. There's nothing there yet, but it's coming soon. And but me personally, at Noveen Crumbie on any social media handle.
I think that'd be such a great resource for people as well. It's not an avenue that's just here's a manual and this is what you need, steps 1,
Exactly.
2, and 3. So that just seems really, really useful. And I'm glad you still get to use your name for your Twitter and social media handles, because I can't put Jamal anywhere. Every brother's named Jamal, and I'm really stuck.
That is so true. That's so true.
I'm stuck. I
Oh
gotta
my
come up with like
gosh.
a different thing or whatever. But it is what it is.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh. I totally feel that. I mean, my name is not on any mug at like a gift shop. So I have to do my middle name, Marissa. So I feel the name pain. I feel
mhm.
it.
Novena, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We're definitely going to stay in touch. I know when the game drops, there's going to be a ton of coverage. People are going to be coming
Yeah.
after y'all, myself included, and we'll stay in touch and bring you to our readers and our followers.
Perfect. Well, thank you for having me. This was great. I appreciate it.